First question I want to put out there for everybody that is coming on is it's an important one. The government is hitting us up in every element of taxation, meaning the corporation called the United States, located in the District of Columbia. That's 9 UCC 307H. So for people that are new to this channel, they're going to kind of see what that is when they go up and look at it later, and they're going to be like, oh wow, it really is in the law in the District of Columbia. And it's also in for people that say, well, that's Uniform Commercial Code, that's not law, it's also in USC. So my point I'm trying to make is there's the level of taxation against the United States citizen is just unparalleled. And right now, with the elements of what they're trying to do and just inciting another war, World War III, and bringing Israel into this, it's not just getting interesting, it's getting biblical and so forth. But the first question that I wanted to realize, because I always hear people that and they don't have solutions. HISAdvocates, we have solutions. People don't realize the things in which they need to be preparing for in their lives. Like, for example, it's new tax, unrealized capital gains. So if you're a United States citizen and you have a property registered in the county recorder and the property is registered in your name, and you have not moved from the property, it's a property that you're going to stay in forever, they're going to do a 20% unrealized capital gains against the individual owner of the property. Guess what? They can't do that against a foundation. So when you have a real property and this property is now owned by the foundation has no lawful requirement to do an unrealized capital gains or a capital gains upon sale in that property. And so look, I'm not a CPA. I'm not sitting here trying to back out of the conversation and try to take away from the element of how exciting that news just was. It's just a fact. As a licensed real estate broker with thousands of transactions in the loan business under my belt, understanding the chain of title probably better than a lot of people, including attorneys, an unregistered, private, unincorporated foundation that owns the real estate is an untaxable entity. Now, does that mean the government won't try to play games down the road and try to associate? It doesn't matter who owns the real estate. What is the real estate in? This is what the guys that rule the world do. These are some of the strategies in which they put into place for themselves. These trusts, these unincorporated private trusts. So we're doing something next level above that. It's a private humanitarian foundation, belongs to God. It's even the IRS code says that these types of entities do not need to file a return, hence therefore do not need to pay taxes, hence therefore, because they are private, belonging to God, they're in a church classification. But again, I don't care what the IRS says. The IRS is not my daddy. And a lot of people are going, wow, Kelby, I can't believe you said the IRS is actually a collection arm of the IMF. The IMF is completely outside of the jurisdiction of the United States in a lot of different respects. But what they do is they put the whole world into debt. And they did that with the United States. And when you get your mind wrapped around the benefits of coming out of that structural system, this is just one. Can you imagine unrealized capital gains? Say you live in a $2 million house, like out here in California, that's nothing. You know, to say that you own a $2 million house, a couple things to take into consideration. When you put it into a foundation or a private church, just like if you were to put it in a 501c3, you have tax exempt status from a property tax standpoint in the county recorder. What? $1 million house in California is about $10,000 a year in property taxes. 2 million, 20,000. Do the math. What is 20,000 divided by 12? You're talking about a $1,800 a month rent payment just on the tax element alone to the county recorder. How do you think this next wave is going to happen? It's because they've increased the valuations of homes nationwide, and when everything drops, they're the main renter, meaning the United States corporation, and the three State Street, BlackRock, and the three major companies out there buying up everything, including each other, at 150% of the value, because they know something's coming. They know valuation is going to change. They know that the only thing that they can do to hang on to these worthless fiat currencies when everything's about to hit the wall is gold, silver, crypto, which they control, which the NSA created, Bitcoin, by the way, if y'all haven't heard that one yet. And then real estate. Those are some major staples that those companies are investing, and they're willing to put up 150% of the value of the house and buy as much property as they can. So they know something is around the corner and imminent. And this is the stuff that HISAdvocates has kind of been talking about immensely in the last, couple years. But that's the first question I wanted to get through with people, and why it's important to live in the private and come out and utilize unregistered private foundations versus a public LLC, a public anything. The benefits that because those elements of taxation only happen to U.S. registered entities, and a United States citizen is a United States registration under UCC 9. It's called the birth certificate. That's the U.S. citizen, and you've picked up that position, and you're holding that office of the artificial person. And it's basically a job position. You get the social, that's your employment ID number. See, to be a citizen of the United States, you got to obey the policies, the procedures, and the codes of the United States. And no longer does the law, meaning the Constitution, it doesn't apply to you anymore. It's not protecting you anymore. They don't have to the Bill of Rights isn't something they have to worry about with you, because you've accepted to be an employmentship, which has got an office position and rules, just like you were if you were to go to work for a company. You got to obey the rules if you want to get that check, and that's really what's going on here. So hold on,